Welcome on in, everybody. It's another fresh stream from your pal Beta. I'm the brains of this operation. This here is a little fat boy hanging out here on the cuddle throne, giving out them positive vibes. Good to see you guys here. We're going to check out some new games, old games, favorite games, and always have that awesome discussion. Thanks for that cheer, Gustavo. Appreciate you. For that one biddy. Appreciate you. Kavas Mare. Good to see you, man. 1 second. Ooh. A little choking fit on my dinner earlier, and it's still kind of bugging me here. Sorry. Might be muting myself a little bit throughout this, but yeah. Welcome in. Hope everybody's doing well. Good to see you guys. As we're gonna get started with some Mozak here in just a minute, but as people get started, people get here, I want to have some more in-depth discussion with you guys. As always, I want to make these nights a bit more about that. But let's go ahead and get started as people are making their way in. And Gustavo, thank you for those 4 biddies. Appreciate you, man. Creeping your way up onto that leaderboard for the biddies in chat this week. 1 second. Whew, sorry. I hope you guys are doing well. Good to see you guys. Kavas Mare had to reprimand a friend over chat. I'd love more details if you care to provide them. What mean you, sir? What you say? Also, whoops, that's not happening right now. Just kidding. To reprimand a friend over Snapchat. I've literally never even used Snapchat. I don't know what it's all about. Couldn't even say. Should have muted my camera there. As you guys can see, if you guys have seen this game before, Gold Mozak, this is a bit of a different layout than we would normally have, you know? She duck-faced you, so you had to, so you said, that's your cell phone getting in the way of you making a correct sentence, I would guess. She made you do a duck face and you had to say hell no, I would guess is what you meant to say there. Good. The duck face is done, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that's been and gone. I assume that's what you meant. Yeah, this is a different kind of neuron than we've had altogether. Normally we have a nice pyramidal neuron with a soma somewhere up around in this area. Nice strong basal dendrite heading out this way. And then other projections coming off the soma. Tonight we don't have one of those. There does not appear to be a basal dendrite anywhere. This may even be a different type of neuron, not a pyramidal neuron at all. So, yeah, it's interesting. This is a rat's nest neuron. I don't know specifically what type of neuron this would be, but it is not our typical type, not our typical fare. So we're going to be starting out to just drawing in what we can find here. There's a lot to draw. Be a lot of fine-tuning on this one for sure. Basically, Kavas, I thought so. I thought I had the gist of it there. That's unfortunate your friend saw fit to do that. The duck face is a thing of the past, I'm pretty sure. And I think they ought to know that by now. Let's see, where can we tackle this beast from, I wonder? I'd love to start, ooh, right here. And then that way is a good one to start with, I think. Also here and that way. So yeah, this one looks like, this dendrite here looks like it splits and then goes up these ways. That could be interesting. Let us begin there. Yeah, bring that contrast down now. There we go. Yo, Kyle, what's up, man? Good to see you. How the heck you doing? Where is it? Here we are. Let's see how it flows. Yeah, absolutely. So this splits off here, and then this branch also splits off again here. Got it. Got it. Kyle, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Speaking of quests, we ain't got one started yet, so feel free to get on it. If you want to. Doing well? I'm doing okay too. My foot hurts still, but hoping that goes away soon. Thinking it's just a stress injury from me running with renewed vigor lately. There it is, Kyle. I know I can count on you, friend. Go and get this started this way. Is that? Hope so. I do too, man. I also do. Anybody in chat, exclamation point quest to join that quest for little fat boy. Just saying. May not be too many people here just yet. That's okay. That's why I've not started that in-depth discussion just yet. We'll get that going as soon as more people get here. And who knows? Maybe, depending on how I feel, I may not even play Mozak the whole night. Might switch over to some other stuff. I don't know. Kava's on that quest. Another one I can always count on to help Fats in his quest to stay the fattest kitty on Twitch. It's a side effect of me kicking butt. Hey, thanks, Kavas. I appreciate you, man. It is. I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about my injury. Yeah, it is, unfortunately. I wish it was better. Alright, I see you guys took out... Who was it? Fabulous Feline Fencer Felicia, which means Fat Boy's getting a treat. Yeah, I'll get some kitty cam. I should make some new battles. There's a lot more, but we don't have the people joining the quests to see them yet. I think I set those goals a little ambitiously. I should bring them down for right now. Thank you guys for helping Fats on his quest to remain the fattest kitty on Twitch. He appreciates it, I appreciate it, y'all love it. It's a win-win-win. Stick around, Fats. Thank you, boy. I think I recognize that electrical noise. Are you leaving? Are you seriously? Oh my god. This freaking guy, dude, I don't believe him. Yeah, I feel like I recognize that the electrical noise in the background of that music there. Let's see. Yeah, see, it's been a while. I think it's not often, I gotta say. I guess I'm just doing a little reflection here. It's not often that I have streams where that I'm like really proud of. But Tuesday's stream I was really proud of. It went really well. Not even so much like, I mean, viewership was good. That's fine. I'm not worried about that though. I'm worried about the interaction that we all had together. It was so good on Tuesday. I freaking loved that, man. I'm looking forward to a lot more to that in the future. And thank you guys for doing everything you do to make that possible every night. Freaking love you guys for it. Appreciate you. I wouldn't have any of this if nobody was here. So, I mean, you guys are the best. I appreciate you. Just want to make sure I say that more often for everybody. I don't think it gets said often enough. Bada, perfect. Thank you. Exactly. Friendly Fuzzball flees the field. Do that alliteration. Freaking love it. Love me some good alliteration. Ooh. So much Final Fantasy music on Gold DJ Cut, man, dude. I love it. Fan of Final Fantasy music. Especially 6. Of the 6 variety. You know? It's a pleasure to watch, and I hear you. Or not, I know. Yeah, makes me sound like an a-hole. I appreciate you, Kyle. Thank you for saying so, is what I mean. Oh, you liked it? Yeah, I know. No. No, Beta, come on. Going down this way? Yeah. The old Famasa theme, for those of you who haven't played Final Fantasy VI, I would recommend it. It is the best as far as I'm concerned. My favorite. You got me, Kyle, I know. I knew you would. That's not what I wanted. Okay, so we got this little outline going. Let's go ahead and get this one now. At least the first part of that one. There we go. And then this one, this projection splits off this way and that way. Let's go this way first, it's shorter. Presumably. Alright, good. Yeah, I can't wait for everybody to get here so we can have some awesome discussion. I'm really hoping... I want to leave that until people get here, because that's when people are going to have... Or when we're going to have people to discuss with, you know? I can't wait for people to get here to do that. It's going to be good. There was a question asked in Discord earlier. There's a new Halloween movie coming out. I've never seen the original either, like Orange Ninja was saying, but are you guys planning on seeing that at all? If not, well, I mean, I would guess that Kyle's not. But anybody else? Anyone else planning on seeing that? I know Kyle don't do no spooky movies. Also, a question specifically for Kyle. You guys got your wife's computer built? Saying me and Kavas aren't good enough to discuss? No, I'm saying you are. You totally are. But I just don't have the same discussion a bunch of times, you know? That's all. The discussion is more lively with more people, so I want to wait just a bit to get that started. Nope. Okay, no all around. I probably won't either, just because Mrs. Beta doesn't like that, and, you know, it is what it is. You did, Kyle? That's awesome. Nice. Bet you guys are enjoying that. What's she enjoying playing right now, man? What are you enjoying playing besides WoW? I'm guessing it's WoW. Alright, cool. There's that, and that. Ooh. But there's this too, and I didn't see that. Shoot. So this goes under this way, and this projection goes out of there. Let's look at that. Oh gosh, there's another one. There's another one that comes out of here too. Let's look as closely as we can here. Not with the Soma there though. Playing Assassin's Creed right now. Assassin's Creed. Got it. I'm having a blast. I'm hearing a lot of people having a blast playing that. I hear that. Kava says, considering this that your first and middle names come from 2 horror movies. Interesting. Halloween and Friday the 13th. I was supposed to be born on Halloween. That's enough for you. Like the spoop was you were born into the spoop, right? Not only that, but apparently with an expectation of loving spoops. But it sounds like maybe you don't as much. That's unfortunate. I was named after the singer of Jethro Tull, Ian Anderson, and I'm not sure if my parents expected me to grow up to be a musician or a rock star or anything like that, but I'm not sure about that. I certainly don't listen to the music too much, though I can listen to it once in a while. Yeah, it says it's less so about being an assassin now, more so about being a god. Oh, is it? Not literally, but figuratively. Is it now? Interesting. Interesting. Oh, the movies came out after you were born, but still, okay. Well, this happens to be, you know. The horror movies call to you then, Kavas. The horror movies call to you, sir. The siren's call. Of the re. Can't miss. You can't escape it. Oh, you are here. I just saw you in the cam. Hi, friend. Love us, buddy. Gonna say he loves to sit on the back of the chairs like this. His little fat belly sticking over. Lol. There's that. Dude, TwitchCon is in 1 freaking week, dude. I'm stoked. As stoked as I get about stuff. Like it's gonna be. I don't know what to expect just yet. But it's gonna be cool. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna love meeting everybody. I know I'm meeting Kavas there, and meeting a lot of other people that I don't know and do know yet as well. It's gonna be dope, basically. Looking forward to meeting a lot of people. People that I do know already, and also people that I don't know as well. I want to make sure that I get myself out of my comfort zone a bit and meet people that I don't know yet either. It's just an opportunity to go out and meet people. Like, I need to be doing that more, you know? As much as I feel like I don't, I do. Jonah Hill scream.gif, indeed. I got you, dog. What is this? Oh, that's something too, huh? Gosh, this is just complex. I just say like this type of music right here, that like Sega Genesis era music, My favorite kind of chip tunes, dude. Frickin' love them. Hype indeed, Kyle. Hype indeed. What, like... If you guys played a lot of games around this time, around, like, this music's time, what game had your favorite, would you say? What are some of your favorite chip tunes, if you guys got them? Where is this? There it is. There it is. That's what I'm talking about. Boom. And then we're going to move this down here. Okay, so this splits here and goes down that way. Got it. Ethanol's here. What's up, man? Well, let's start that question then. Let's talk about it. We've been waiting for people to show up, Ethanol. You're here. Let's do it. And he also found a freaking kitty. Oh my gosh. You know the drill. Add it in there and I will add it. Or put it in there and I will add it. Our friend Orange Ninja is not here just yet, and that is okay. I gotta get some... This is gonna go down that way. What happens here, though? It's like this... I can't tell. A little bit of Legend of Zelda music, too. I'm down with it. Kyle said I only started playing games around the GameCube, so never really played other stuff. Okay. So Mario would probably be your favorite. Got it. Evade Bug, good to see ya. Shadowrun on the SNES has some good chiptunes. Yeah, okay. I never played Shadowrun, but SNES also has some dope tunes, like Final Fantasy VI. Or, like this one. Legend of Zelda Link to the Past, right there. It's like Mario music in general. Okay. Got you. Yeah, like, Mario Sunshine had some dope music, dude. I loved that game. It was fun. Good little slice of fun right there. It was super cool. But yeah, guys, Ethanol has broached the question, and there's people coming in. What is social learning, guys? What is that? What do you guys know about that? Random Letters is here asking that question too. Good. I like this is getting going. What is social learning, guys? What the heck is that? This is one I feel like I might be doing a bit more teaching on, but I want to hear what you guys know about it too. What is that even? F&O wants a floofy white cat named Snowball who loves to get lost in the freshly fallen snow. I freaking love that one. I love that kitty. Nice, even more? More, this is like a whole like Zelda music remix. I love this. It's all Kakariko Village. Boom. Random Letters says in the answer to the question, it says it's an absurdly complicated neural network made out of a bunch of flesh bags thinking too much about unimportant nonsense. It might be. It might be. Are you referring to like that's what the theory itself is, or that's what the construct of social learning is, or are you saying that like that's how that works between us in a very snarky manner, which I can appreciate? Evade Bug says learning how to communicate with others while respecting others' religion and culture. Okay, alright, I like that. Ethanol's never heard of social learning, so you got nothing. Okay, got it, alright, got it. Well, social learning, guys. Evade Bug's getting there, yeah, for sure. And what it is really, it's a idea, basically, that's a big part of social cognitive theory, right? Random Letter says, I've been learning how to code neural networks. Got it, to do weird stuff lately. That's naturally where you went. Okay, got it. Yeah, all right. You're talking about kind of like machine learning and stuff then, which I'm guessing is also based in this sort of thing. But social learning simply says, Kyle says, social learning to you is things burn outside from a class. Wait, what? Okay, I think his cell phone's getting the best of him here, unfortunately. Social learning to you is things you learn outside of a class from peers, whether good or bad things that construct your personality for skills and traits, is what I'm guessing you're saying there. Okay, yeah, I like that. Learned. Yeah, things learned outside of class. Okay, that makes sense. Gotcha. Humans are just complicated machines? Yeah, maybe. There was that analogy that was going around for a long time about how human memory was just like RAM in a computer and stuff like that, and the hard drive in a computer, and that's not, I don't know. I'm not sure how much I learned, burned, it's all the same. Yeah, I'm not sure how much I agree with that. I think we have more than machines have right now. But I mean, I don't know. It could be that way. If you look down closely enough at biological processes and things like that, it's set up in circuit. Like, we set up visualizations of how those things work in circuits. We really do. So I mean, that kind of lends credence to the fact that we at least think of ourselves as working like machines, you know? Or it's just that we're applying what we know to a process that we don't understand yet, because that's the best way we can describe it. It could also be that, you know? Be right back, Kyle? No problem, man. Anyway, social learning, guys. Social learning is basically, like, at its core, is basically just learning from other people, you know? Watching somebody else do something, learning vicariously, you know, that, like, something is a good idea to do or not a good idea to do, things like that, right? Random letter says humans are machines. We burn fuel, sure, to produce output, whatever a human does. Maybe. I think it's more complex than that. I don't know. I don't think it can be boiled down that simply. But what do you guys think? Humans, machines, perfect analogs, or do you think there's differences? I think that there's too much that we do that is random, or that can't be explained just by machines, you know? To say that we are just complicated machines. I don't think it works that way. I don't think so. What's up, Goose? Is this that brain game we were playing a while back? It is indeed, Goose. It is indeed. Right now we're talking about what social learning is. But yeah, basically, social learning is a piece of social cognitive theory, right? Which is made by Alexander Bandura back in the 80s. And it's kind of an addendum to his social learning theory, which was made in the 70s, but didn't quite explain everything. It took out the cognitive aspect of things too much, you know? The reason why self-driving cars are so far behind, there is, you know? Which says, you know, maybe we're not just like humans, but that also says that that's just a limitation of us making machines complicated enough to think like us. You know? There's two sides. I think there's an argument against that argument there. But I want to play devil's advocate for a second, which I never mind at all. Anyways, if you're going to talk about social cognitive theory, I think first you have to talk about what behavior analysis is, because it's based in that. It's kind of, social learning theory is kind of based off behavior analysis, and social cognitive theory comes from that. The idea of social learning being a piece of that business as well. Do you guys know what behavior analysis is? Like, what is that even? What the heck is behavior analysis? Give me a second to talk about that. Well, I draw on some more neurons here, or some more dendrites. Thinking that comes off a, you know. Goes that way? Yeah. Here we go. I like that last one. Also, yeah, retweeting that last going live message always helps us grow, and I always appreciate that. If you guys want to. It's going to help us get more people in on these conversations and have those awesome streams like we had on Tuesday, which I really appreciated. Loved having everybody there for that one, and again, I felt very proud about that one. I think we did especially well there on that stream. Random letters say, I tried this Neuron drawing thing a while back after I had it on stream. The last time it just did not work for you for some reason. Controls on the website did not map to what they said they did. That's really weird. Did you try asking questions up here in the chat? Old Sarah Mortier is very good at getting back to you and helping you out with that kind of stuff if you ever need help with that. That's really weird. Yeah, I think that was you that was mentioning that you tried it like on a laptop or a work computer or something like that. It just wasn't working out. Yeah, frustrated and stopped. Yeah, that was you. I remember that. Yeah, I hope that you tried a different computer or something like that, or a different, I don't know. I hope that you follow up on it because it's fun. I like this, you know. It's good, and I think it's a game that actually, you know, you work towards a good cause with, because this helps further science and stuff like that. So I hope that those difficulties get alleviated for you soon. Like I said, the people in the community here on the site are definitely here to help you with that kind of stuff. The things you put into chat here actually go to Sarah Mortier's phone. and so she'll make sure to get back to you pretty quick. She's the community manager. As you can see, I just asked her like a little bit earlier, hey, we've got any new neurons? Boom, back to me 2 minutes later. So I think she's there to help you out with that stuff if there's something that you can't figure out the answer to on your own, which I'm sure you tried to do and would be successful at most times. Welcome back, Hal. Good to see you. But anyway, social learning, social cognitive theory is based in behavior analysis, right? You guys may have heard of behavior analysis before. It's used a lot in like children, helping children learn or managing classrooms and stuff like that. A lot of that's behavior analysis. The whole idea of like reward and punishment and things like that. They use it a lot actually in autism treatment for very, very young kiddos. I actually used to work in a clinic that did EIBT, or early intensive behavior therapy, with little kiddos with autism, and I learned a lot there. I learned a lot there and while I was also in school at that time, because the college that I went to for the psychology program I was in was very heavily behavior analysis based. It's actually one of the, at the time at least, one of the few programs in the country that would give you a degree in behavior analysis. So people there were obviously all about it. A little too much in my opinion, to the point where they were kind of like eschewing other schools of psychology or other ways of thinking about the human mind and behavior, and that's a dumb way to do things in my opinion. I'm sorry, it just is. Also quest time for whoever's ready. ! Quest to join that quest. But yeah. So it's behavior analysis is used a lot in like early intensive therapy with students with autism. We use it in animals a lot too, for sure, like animal training and things like that. But it's also used in adults. I mean, the ideas of reinforcement and punishment and stuff like that don't stop for children. They really don't, There's reinforcers for all of us, like I go to work every day because I want a freaking paycheck. That's a reinforcement, If you are going to college, you're getting a promise of delayed reinforcement through, the grades you're going to get in your class, and the degree that you're with the prospect of getting a degree and a job later. So, classes, the things I know are more important. I feel like that's kind of how a lot of behavior analysis that I've known thought about science in general, and well, not science in general, but psychology in general. Like their way was the best way. Like neuroscience doesn't play a part. Like social psychology doesn't play a part. No. It's all behavior, right? And we should be considered a hard science like physics and chemistry and all those things, because psychology isn't. It's considered a soft science. Because we also deal in observable, measurable things. So we should be called a hard science too. They just had a total hard-on for like being part of the hard science community, and like, dude, that's not what it's about, I think that they were doing science a disservice by not considering everything, To say that other things aren't important or don't matter, especially when we're talking about humans, is just fallacious in my opinion. I'm sorry. There's no best way to explain human behavior and thought processes and emotions and everything that makes us human. And it's certainly not behavior analysis. It's not. It doesn't explain everything. Exactly, Kyle. It's dumb. It just holds people back. It really does. Having a closed mind, like I understand like zeal and like belief in what you believe in, but having a closed mind about that thing and not experiencing other things or considering other options, that is no good for anybody. It really doesn't. Anyways, I'll talk more about that in a second, but I see you guys took out Tortoiseshell Tansy, which means the little fat boy's getting a treat, and y'all are getting some kitty cam. Ooh, fat boy, we're almost through your food and back to treats. Think about that, little fatty fat. He thinks, nom 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 nom. Thank you guys for donating again to Fat Boy's Fat Belly Fund, dedicated to keeping him the fattest kitty on Twitch. He appreciates it, I appreciate it, y'all love it. It's a win-win-win. Oh, good boy. What a little fatty meatloaf. Belief is indeed very different from ignorance. Indeed. Keep that kitty healthy, not just fat. I do keep him healthy. He's a healthy weight. Last time I just took him into the vet, he was a good 13 pounds, and they said that's fine. He looks extra fat. He's got like extra skin on his belly because he used to be very overweight when I lived with my sister while I was going to graduate school for the second time. She had two kitties that had a better metabolism than he did, I guess. I don't know, but she gave them free access to food, which meant that he also had free access to food because I let him go about the house during the day and stuff like that. So he had free access to food as well, to the point that I stopped feeding him, actually, just because he was eating way too much. But he doesn't tolerate having free access to food very well. He would be a blimp if I'd let him have free access to food. So I put him on a kitty diet after we moved out, but he's got leftover skin now because he used to be super fat. So like I said, he looks way fatter than he normally is. His belly hangs super low. There's just extra skin there. I make sure to keep him on a little kitty diet. And on days where we stream and stuff like that, I give him less food in the morning than I would normally give him on another day, because he's going to get food in the evening via treats and such. So I make sure he's a good healthy weight. No worries, I promise. Anyways, so social learning theory, social cognitive theory, all ties back into behavior analysis. The ideas of reinforcement and punishment, right? You guys know that there's different types of reinforcement and punishment? They're not just a dichotomy. There's actually 4 different ideas with that. You guys know that? So there's actually 2 different types of reinforcement and 2 different types of punishment. There's a total of 4 different ways you can modify a person's behavior, which is all behavior analysis is. It's looking at a person's behavior, usually targeting maladaptive behaviors and trying to extinguish those and replace them with more beneficial behaviors, right? Because if a person has beneficial behaviors already, I mean, you're good. You kind of leave those alone, you know? But as far as the behavior analysis that I practiced and learned about, you're looking to replace maladaptive behaviors with good behaviors, right? So, gotcha, Kyle. I hear you. There's actually 4 different ways or 4 different theoretical ways to do that. There is positive reinforcement. There's the counterintuitive sounding negative reinforcement, which is also counterintuitive sounding positive punishment, and there's negative punishment, right? There's actually 4 different types. Random Letter says, I seem like the kind of person that you would have a good conversation with over a bottle of bourbon. I agree. Even you can do that right now. Bust out some bourbon if you want to, and let's converse, dog. But again, there's 4 different types of this, right? Positive punishment is, so there's 2 different variables there, right? Positive and negative. And then reinforcement and punishment. Those kind of tie into 2 different things. Reinforce in a friendly way. Oh, absolutely. Random Letters, I believe you. Yeah, I didn't think you meant in a challenging way. A positive and negative refers to adding something in or taking something away. Usually a stimulus. Actually, always a stimulus. Or some great gameplay, right? And then reinforcement and punishment refer to making a behavior more likely in the future. Like you reinforce things you want to see, like we get paychecks because people want us to go to work. We see weight loss as reinforcing to continue to, or they're feeling better also, as reinforcing to continue to exercise, right? We might give kids allowance to encourage them to continue to do chores and things like that, right? Kava said, I recently read about these 4 states in a game theory article. Wow, interesting. I didn't realize that made it into, maybe not video game theory, but like the actual like game theory, which I don't know much about actually. But that's interesting. I wonder how I would love to hear more about how those tie in, man. But yeah, reinforcement makes a behavior more likely in the future. And reinforcers aren't always things that you might expect. It could be a lot of different stuff. And then punishment is just something that makes a behavior less likely in the future, right? Yeah, in video games? Oh, interesting, Kavas. I guess it makes sense if you're trying to get players to kind of go along a certain path. You're going to want to reinforce certain things and punish certain other things, right? Makes sense. But I'd love to hear more about what you read there, man. I love that tie into video games always. I don't think people realize like how much video games tie into real life stuff, you know? It's quite a bit, actually. But anyway, so positive punishment would be giving somebody something or adding in a stimulus or something like that, or a natural consequence that makes a behavior more likely in the future, right? So if a kid says something nice or holds open a door or something, if a kid is polite, you're going to say, oh, wow, that was really cool of you. I love that. You give them some social praise, right? That makes them, hopefully, more likely to do that in the future. A negative reinforcement would be like, there's a bug flying around. You kill the bug. It's no longer buzzing around anymore, so you get removed that annoyance, right? And you're more likely to kill bugs in the future because they're annoying. That's a very loose. That's maybe not the best example, but it's what I got right now. Right? You're removing a negative stimulus, something that you don't like, and it's more like it makes it more likely for you to do that same thing in the future, right? Positive punishment would be adding in a punishing adding in a negative stimulus, adding in something that you don't want in order to make it so you're less likely to do something in the future, right? So like, traditional punishments for kids, if a kid doesn't do their chores, well then they might get a spanking or something like that. That's the addition of a stimulus people don't want, so that you discourage that behavior in the future, hopefully, right? And then negative punishment would be removing something that is valuable in order to reduce the behavior in the future. So like, a kid screws up and does something that parents don't want, they might take away video games for a while, with the hopes in the future that maybe that thing that they don't want to see is actually reduced in the future. Those don't, they're taking away something the kid wants so that they actually don't do the thing as much, right? Loose definitions there, but I hope you get the idea. Ethanol said there's a study done once concerning a bunch of orphans in speech therapy that you remember reading about. Like what? I wonder what you read about there. So social learning theory is based on this as well. We will behave based on what we see, or what gets reinforced and what gets punished as well. But unlike behavior analysis, which totally just looks past emotion, cognition, things that aren't directly visible and observable and measurable, right? Because it's hard to say how a kid felt about something. We know. We really do. We're often we're intuitive and social enough to understand how a person feels about something, or at least take a reasonable guess about how a person feels about something. But that doesn't play into behavior analysis. No. If you can't directly observe it and count how many times a thing happened or how often a thing happened, nope, can't do it. So they wouldn't take into account sadness, but they take into account crying, because you can measure how long a kid cried for. You can say how often they cried throughout a day, something like that, But they wouldn't take that into account, not at all. And that's where I think it falls short, because people are more than just the sum of the things that they do. They really are. There's way more going on in here that's not being taken into account at all. But totally should be, in my opinion. Ethanol says about the orphans and speech therapy, they took half and half spread of these kids, okay, put them into two groups, began giving them speech therapy regardless of whether or not they had a stutter. Interesting. Half of the kids got told they had good speech patterns and were praised. The other half were told their speech was crap and they sucked at life. Paraphrasing, obviously. Shockingly, the half that were deprecated exhibited lower self-esteem and less confidence in their speech. Well, what do you freaking know? I don't believe it. It's almost like if you tell somebody they're crap, then they start to believe it after a while. Which says something about negative self-talk, too. If you say that to yourself all the time, you start to believe it, too. I had a bad habit of doing that to myself when I was growing up, I grew up thinking I was garbage because I kept telling myself that. Not helpful. Not at all. I felt other people were too, but But yeah, that's, in other news, water is wet. Right, Cubs? There's a lot of this, I gotta say, about science, there's a lot of research that's done where afterwards you see and you're like, well, duh. It's common sense, but until there's a study done on it, you just never know, It's we can say well, yeah, if you tell a kid their speech sucks, they're not going to feel very confident about it. Clearly, probably, we would guess that probably happened, but you got to do the research. You got to do the research and have the research base in order to refer back to it later, And I bet there might have been other stuff that they might have been looking for in that study, or other interesting implications of it. But it totally makes sense. Praise a kid, tell them they're doing great, they're going to think they're doing great. Don't tell a kid they're doing crap, they're going to think they're doing crap. Which is also, that brings up another interesting point, I think. That there's that whole movement nowadays of not praising kids for being good at something, or being smart, or being a good artist, or whatever, But praising a kid for putting in the time, putting in the effort, for hustling, Praising kids for that, because then later when they come up against a real challenge, but I'm good at this. well, maybe you're not. Or maybe you just came up on a hard spot and you need to keep working at it and you'll get through it. But if we don't help build that resilience in a kid, then they're not going to know to have it, or that they should have it, or that not everything's going to come easily to them, you know? I think that's kind of an offshoot of what that study was talking about too, you know? What we say to a kid is it really affects their beliefs. So if we tell them that you're a hard worker, dude, they're going to get that perseverance. And that is like so much way more important than being smart, being good looking, being good at math, being a good artist, being a good dancer. Like, those things pale in comparison to just, hey, work hard, keep at it, persevere, you know, work through obstacles. That is a way more important skill, you know, isn't it? I mean, I would say so. I think research would show that as well. Like, it's so much more important to a person's well-being and health to just have that stick-to-itiveness, you know, in more lay terms, you know. It is way more important for a kid or a person in general's development. Kava said this is the #1 reason we disagree with participation awards. Yeah, okay. What do you mean by that? I would say maybe not participation so much as like, dude, like that guy worked his ass off. Let's give him a reward, you know? Like most effort reward. Hell yeah, dude. Like screw that kid that had their parents help him with that project. Who can you tell worked at it by themselves? You know they didn't get help at home and they still put in a decent project. Give that kid most effort, please. Holy crap. That kid worked his ass off and people need to see that. Like you want that to continue into adulthood like what we say everybody should? Well, then teach kids that it's valuable. Teach kids that you see it, you know? Reward that with an award. You know, that's what behavior analysis would say, right? You want to reinforce a behavior like effort, like perseverance. Well, then show kids that it's worth it. Like give them some reinforcement for it besides just cool, whatever, or just ignoring it. You know, show them that you recognize that. Or adults for that matter. It doesn't stop with kids. It's easier to do with kids. I almost said more easy right there. It's fine. But it works with adults too. Show them that you notice that they're sticking with something. It's awesome. Kava says to you it sets a negative trend. Well, I showed up, give me my award, and oh, I see this generation having so many problems because they don't put forth effort. It's true. Yeah. I see where you're going. It kind of sets up a precedent of just like, okay, cool, I'm here. Hook it up with like, it sets up an expectation precedent, right? Just like, or what's the word I'm looking for? Gosh, not expectation, but a thing that people, entitlement, there it is. It kind of reinforces entitlement, right? Like, cool, I was here, like, don't I get something? No, not always. Sometimes you don't get it, sometimes you don't get something. If you just showed up and half-assed it or didn't even try on something, you're probably not going to get anything. Sorry. When you go out to start that skateboard business later, if you don't actually put in work and do it, then you're probably not going to get anything. You know? It's kind of like how like, I don't know if you guys heard this, but I was talking about it the other day, like what I saw another teacher in my work do. She, like a student came in and like asked her to like work on her paper for her. And she actually, like the teacher actually did it, which like boggled my freaking mind. But like that just reinforces entitlement right there because like that student just knows that like someone else is going to do her work for her right now. Like that's what you just showed her, is that you're going to do her work for her and make sure that she gets a good grade. What the hell is that doing for her in the future? Besides setting her up for the biggest failure. Because that crap stops after high school. No one's going to do crap for you after that. It should like that expectation that you need to put up for you and you need to work for what you want needs to be in school. It does. I think parents that get in the way of that are doing disservice for kids and society in general in the future. Just saying. Like I said, I think it's not everybody in that generation. Yeah, there's so many. Ooh, man, your phone's really doing a number here, man. I think it's not that. The thing is, it's not everyone in that generation. There's so many people, especially Twitch streamers, that put forth so much effort, but they get lumped in with all the people that don't. It's true. I think what you're saying. I think I understand what you're saying. I mean, but yeah, there's a lot of people that put in effort, and there's a lot of people that don't, but they all get lumped in together as one, and that kind of does a disservice to the people that worked hard. Effort should definitely be praised more than it is, you know? But we don't often praise the process, we praise the results, you know? So the people that are working their asses off to do the best for everybody and aren't succeeding, well, we don't see that. We just see that... We see the person that did get through. You know, we see the one person that everybody else is watching. That's what we see, you know? And that does a disservice to the people that are trying really hard. You know, it doesn't show them that they should continue to do that. And, you know, maybe sometimes they shouldn't, but we should still praise, we should still praise people for loving the process, sticking with it, hustling, and doing their best. That's what should matter. Kind of like I feel like in science, like we should be praising studies that were performed well, not studies that a person put in because they're a famous researcher or they know people high up or they have friends in the journal that they're trying to be published in, or because their results show rave reviews and they don't want to share their freaking raw data so you can't replicate it. That's not what we should be paying attention to. We should be paying attention to the people that bust their ass to do a really well performed, well thought out, well described and measured study. That's what science should be, but it's not. But it frickin' should be, you know? Oof. In my opinion, you know? I don't think I'm alone on that at all. I really don't. So, anyways. This continues down here. Let's get some of this drawn tonight. I actually do want to work on these too, but it's talking so much, you know, which I don't think is a bad thing. I love that we're able to converse together. I freaking love that. It's the whole point of this, you know? Broaden that knowledge, increase that knowledge base, learn together. You know, that's kind of the whole jam here. I can go there. Yeah, where was I with social learning also? Oh yeah, so ties into behavior analysis. We talked about that. Was there any other connections here? I thought there was. There is something there. Yeah, right here. There's a lightning strike there. Comes right out of there. Okay, let's do that. Also, quest time for whoever's ready. Just saying. It is there, ready for you guys to get to do it. Well, Fat Boy ain't gonna get those treats on his own. But so yeah, behavior analysis goes into social learning, or turned into kind of some of those behavior principles were taken into social learning theory. Social learning theory was turned into social cognitive theory when they started to realize that it's not just all about behavior and even social skills, or like watching other people. It's also about like cognition, what we think about things, because you can choose whether or not you're going to perform an action, even in the place of, you know, a reinforcing stimulus. You really can, you know? It's a reason why, like, a person that's been going to job to make all the money they've been making, get those paychecks, after a while, you know, maybe sometimes they might decide it's not worth it, you know? They might go in and bargain for a raise, or they might want to move to a different position, or any number of different things, you know? Let's see. Yeah, behavior analysis, as I was saying, often used in kids. Same with social learning theory. Often studies were done with children, because that's the point when, well, as kids, it's when we're learning the most, you know? Not to say that learning ever stops. Learning never stops, by the way. I mean, like, there's a reason why, like, standardized vocabulary tests go from, like, 1 or 2 years old all the way up till, like, 90, because we're constantly learning more and more vocabulary as we go, you know? Like, that's one thing about language that we never stop learning. After we learn this, the general, like, word structure, sentence structure, things like that, the one thing we always pick up more and more of is vocabulary. Also, pragmatics, when we use certain language and when we don't. But for the most part, vocabulary. And you could probably argue that vocabulary drives some of pragmatics as well. There's certain words you would use with your friends and whatnot, and there's certain words you would not use with your grandparents, you know? But yeah, like memes and like different languages, things like words like bougie, things like that. That's like newer vocabulary that's made up that people talk about a lot. That's something that's totally learned and made up, right? That's one thing that always continues to learn, or we always continue to learn. But kids, for the most part, they're learning the most out of all of us. They have a lot of catching up to do by the time they're adults, quote unquote, adults. But again, there's more to learning and kids and all that stuff than just the behaviors, right? Than just the antecedents, the behavior, and the consequence. Than just reinforcement and punishment. You know, there's also things like ouch, jeez. Also, things like models, like modeling is a huge thing that's taken into account in social learning. Like a big way that we learn from one another is by watching somebody else. You know, usually somebody that we respect, right? Like me playing through Bloodborne, like I have a lot of prior knowledge about that game and how things work because I've seen other people play it so many times. Now, obviously, like, that doesn't take the place of me actually playing it, so, you know, I don't pick up the, as you can see if you watch any of my playthrough, I didn't just pick up the controller and I'm freaking pro at it, because it doesn't work that way, you know? It's not exact. But I learned a lot about the game by watching other people play it first, you know? Watching people do challenge runs of it, speed runs of it, things like that. So, like, I know where to go somewhat. I know how the mechanics work somewhat, you know? I learned that because I watched someone else do it. That's a big way that we learn a lot of stuff, you know, is through social learning, watching somebody else first, watching a model of that happen. One thing about models that's interesting that I was learning is, or people we see as models, is we tend to stick to people that we see as similar to us. So it might be people that they're like the same sex or gender as us, people that are the same race as us, things like that, people that are the same age. So we tend to kind of like naturally learn from one another that are people that we see as similar to us. Kids do that kind of naturally, it seems, which is interesting, in my opinion. Let's see. Ouch. But there's also actually like a neurological basis to cognitive learning theory and social learning in general. Is I think I've talked about these brain bits on stream before, but there's things called mirror neurons in people and also primates that they have found. Hey, Perf Villain, good to see you, man. How the heck are you? Welcome on in. But yeah, there's things called mirror neurons in us, and what those do is like when we see another, like how often, like, have you seen like a person get hurt and you're like, oh, or like you see something gross, you're like, oh god, like that's disgusting, right? Like you see another person throw up or eat something gross, you're like, oh, like that makes me sick, right? Those are your mirror neurons in play right there. They're up here in the medial prefrontal cortex, and they're also in your parietal lobe a little bit, which I haven't talked about before. That's responsible for us like moving and taking actions and stuff like that. But a lot of the same areas that are activated when we're actually doing a thing are also activated when we watch somebody else do that same thing or feel that same emotion, right? So, I mean, social learning theory kind of has a bit of a biological and neurological basis to it, in that, you know, there's neurons that actually drive social learning. You know, us watching somebody else do something, and, you know, us feeling that same feeling or kind of activating the same brain areas as us performing that certain task, you know? It's not perfect, of course, because I can't watch somebody do a backflip and then walk outside and do it myself. Like I said, it's not physically possible for me to do one at this point because I don't know how, you know? But I have an idea of what it should look like, you know? Like I have an idea of how I would start one. But it's not perfect at all, like at all. Welcome in, Tax. Good to see you, man. But that's social learning at work, you know? There's also vicarious learning in social learning theory and social cognitive theory, which behavior analysis wouldn't take into account at all. Well, maybe they would a little bit. It's one of the techniques we used, actually, was modeling. But vicarious learning, like if a young girl watches her older sister like do something and her parents praise her or reward her somehow, then guess what that little girl's going to do? She's going to do something similar, you know? She's more likely to do that thing that her older sister modeled for her in the future because she saw the good benefits that came from it, you know? Just like, you know, teachers are supposed to model good behavior for students, you know? Parents should be modeling good behavior for their kids, you know? If a kid sees a parent sitting around in front of the TV all day, well, then guess what they're going to think is okay to do? Sit around in front of the TV all day. If they see parents fighting with each other all the time, like, guess what they're going to be doing with other people? Freaking arguing and fighting all the time. Like we learn so much from our parents and from the models in our lives, then I think we understand, you know? It's really important, and I think it's super important to realize that. Like, just how much you teach a kid or another person by your actions. So, I think that comes into play especially relevant to streamers as well, because people watch us all the time. People watch us, what we do, what we say, especially people like Ninja and Dr. Disrespect. Those people are extremely influential. People see what they do and say all the time, and they are models for a lot of people, whether they want to be or not, you know? That brings up an interesting question. If you guys have been listening to the conversation at all, what kind of people do you think can be models for other people? What do you guys think? Oh, no Kitty taxed you. Hope you're doing well, man. How's family and stuff like that? Hope they're well. Well, let me know, sir. Yeah, like, what kind of people could be models for us? What do you guys think? Am I going right into the Soma that way? Where's the Soma anyways? There it is. Here it is. Where is this projection? Where is that even? Jeez. Here it comes. This like disappears. Jeez. Wow, that's hard to connect in here. I think it goes in like that. That's good enough, I would say. Yeah, It's interesting, like, in reading what I read about, you know, and learning about this, pretty much anybody can be a model for another person. It doesn't have to be somebody that's exactly like another person. We usually think of it as, or people tend to gravitate towards people that they think are more like themselves as people that can be models for them, but it can be anybody. It can be a completely different person, anybody that you respect. I think that's where respect comes from, actually, somebody that you learn a lot from. You tend to place that value on a person, that respect on a person, right? And it could be somebody completely different than you. It can also be fictional characters, people we read about, people we see in video games, people we see on TV that aren't real. Those can be models for behavior as well. Has you ever seen a kid like act out behaviors they see in a movie and stuff like that? They learned it from there. Those are models for them too, you know? Taxi said Dad's visited the doctor, the neurologist yesterday. Cool. How did that go? I would guess that there's probably not amazing news, but, you know, you learn anything new, or... Everyday Gamer, what's up, man? Those of you guys joining us and you haven't had a chance to weigh in on our question yet, we've been talking all about what is social learning. What do you guys know about that? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this. What you guys got to say about what social learning is? I would love to hear it. So you need to set up an appointment for MRI and set up cognitive tests. Yep, sounds about right. With dementia comes a lot of that kind of stuff, for sure. I hope that they're able to find some things that will help your dad through the rest of his life as easy as possible. For sure. This is hard with dementia and Alzheimer's, you know? Oops, there we go. Does this go further? It does, yeah. How the heck you doing, Everyday Gamer? Hope you're doing well. Love to hear what you have to say about our question of the day as well. Lay it on me, sir. Lay it on me. This actually, does that seem to go up that way? Kinda does. And I think it stops there, yeah. Reasonable, that's not what I wanted to, oh, hang on, whoa, hold up. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. There we go. Ouch. That hurt. That was not fun. Yeah, pretty much anybody in your life can be a model. Hey, Chocolate Chip Pancakes coming on in with 6 friends. Good to see you guys. Welcome on in. Yo, Ash, how you doing? Stack attack. I love it. Love that raid call out. Good to see you guys coming in from Chocolate Chip Pancakes. Papa-san, what's up? Windfall, how you doing? Orange Ninja, what's up? The pancakes are attacking. You're coming with them, dude. How you guys doing? Good to see you guys. Welcome in. Always. Raiders coming on in. It looks like most of you guys know me. If you guys don't, my name's Ina Beta. I'm the brains of this operation. We got over here. Whoop. We got over here. Little fat boy. Putting out those positive vibes from the cuddle chair. Or the cuddle throne. And yeah. We're talking we usually talk about different neuroscientific and scientific topics. Psychological topics as well. And we also play a variety of games, pretty much anything besides MOBAs, BRs, fighting games. I'll play pretty much anything besides that. The game we're playing tonight is Mozak, which is a free browser-based game set up by the Allen Institute for Brain Science and the Center for Game Science at University of Washington, all about tracing neurons and helping to put together a better 3D projection of the brain, because we actually don't have one of those yet. So yeah, that's what this is all about. Hey, Papa-san, thank you for that. Thank you for that follow. Hope to see you around again. Now you're gonna hang out and watch people make dinner? Sounds good, Ash. Sounds good. That's what we're all about here, guys. So, guys, we have a question of the evening here. I've been talking about this a lot. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this as well. What is social learning, everybody? What is that? What do you guys know about that? Everyday Gamer says, I didn't realize that's what it's called, but I'm a total believer in social learning. Good, because it's totally a thing that exists that we do. You know the old childhood saying, monkey see, monkey do? Yes, I didn't think about that, yeah. There's usually adages for these kind of things that people before we even know that there's a science of it, you know? Definitely watch people grow up and be completely different because of the people they hung out with and were raised by. Yep, the models that they have. We were talking about that earlier. I think a lot of stuff is actually taught from social learning. I'd say that's the biggest way that we learn, actually, is by learning from other people, in my opinion. I say it's maybe one of the deficits of people with autism is that they don't learn socially as well because they aren't attending to other people, you know? And because of that, rather, if they aren't going to attend to people, you can use other things to teach them instead, like characters that they like or things like that. They can learn from those things as well, you know? Other people in 2018, lol. That's unfortunately some people's mindset. At least they act like it is. Yeah, welcome in, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Good to see y'all here. But yeah, what do you guys know about? What do you guys think about that? What do you guys know about social learning? We're talking about a lot of that. Talking about that a lot. You guys got your brain going early today? I like it. Love waking up and getting the motors running with a good question. I like it. Get that coffee if you need a friend. Get what you need to get involved in this discussion, yo. That not Jen emote, she's good people. I like her. There we go. Yeah, social learning, WTF, what is that? I can start from the beginning on this. For those of you guys who don't know much about social learning, it's a lot what it sounds like. It's basically what it sounds like. It's us learning by watching and interacting with other people, right? Watching models, basically. Not necessarily like, physical like models that walk down the runway, of course, but other people that we look up to or see as people that can show us how to do things, right? Those tend to be models. The biggest models in our life tend to be family members, specifically parents, siblings, close friends in childhood, things like that. Those are the people we're going to learn the most from, Those are the models we're going to model ourselves after the most. Sometimes extended family members, sometimes grandparents as well. Depends on who you spend the most time with. And we tend to pick people that we see as most like us, which usually means family. People of the same sex or same gender, usually, not always, but usually. People of the same race or ethnicity, most of the time, but not always. Sure does, Ninja. Thanks for starting that. It's been waiting for a while. Things were a little bit low key before you guys got here. Yeah. But those are the kind of people that we would tend to gravitate towards as models, right? People that tend to be similar to us. And there's a reason for that, which we'll get into later. Whoop. Oh, I did this, thank you. Windfall's on that quest. Tax Dude's on that quest. Who else is going? But for those of you guys who don't know much about this, social learning is actually part of a theory invented by and researched and discovered by, I guess, however you want to look at it, by Alfred Bandura. If you guys have heard of him, we talked about one of his studies he did before, the Iron Mother and the Soft Mother, like that was one of his studies. Also the Bobo the Clown studies, those were him as well. Before we get into those, hey, y'all took out Siamese the Gunny, which means this little fat boy's getting a treat. Y'all are getting some kitty cam. I love that boy. Thank you guys for questing again for Fat Boy's Fat Belly Fun, dedicated to keeping him the fattest kitty on Twitch. He appreciates it. I appreciate it. Y'all love it. It's a win-win-win. Oh, good boy. Yeah, so Albert Bandura came up with the social learning theory and eventually changed that into social cognitive theory, which you guys might have heard of if you guys follow psychology at all. Basically, it's based a lot on behavior analysis, right? Which you may or may not have heard of. But you guys have probably heard of reinforcement and punishment, right? Like, what is that? What is reinforcement? What is punishment? You guys know that? What it is? What it is? What those do? Discord says I'm still streaming? That's good. I would hope so. Oh, so you're talking about chocolate chip pancakes. Gotcha. It might just take a second to catch up, Ninja, like we saw with me the other night. Still say I was streaming in the morning when it was clearly not. OBS wasn't even open. Gosh, I'm worried this topic isn't relatable. I'm worried that this topic is not something that there can be a conversation on because why is that? I know a lot about it, but I don't think many people do. So it's going to be more me talking about it and you listening, which may or may not be interesting for people, and that's not really what I'm going for either. I think I need to think of a different topic. I do. I don't think this is super interesting to everybody. Or rather, it might be interesting, but it's not relatable. It's not something that you can converse with me about, maybe. So, I think I need to look at something else. I'll think of something else then. Here's something. Let's see. What is, okay, everybody. Who is a person, or who or what is something in your life, or a person in your life, right, that you have learned a lot from, right? It could be a real person, it could be a not real person, fictional person. Like, what is something or something that you've learned from somebody in your life? Love to hear about that. Let's see. What about for me? Oh, geez. I've learned quite a bit from video games, actually. Like how to treat one another, definitely. How to stand up for what's right. Perseverance is a big thing I learned from video games, you know? Sticking with it. Don't give up, right? And that bit of reinforcement from video games itself. Every time I was doing something right. But what about you guys? Whoa, that's not what I did. I held the shift button, for Christ's sake. Thank you. Okay, so this continues up, but it also splits there, yeah? Yeah, it does. Fine. Tax2 says video games are from the devil. Stop. Not true. You know this. Nah, I got you, Tex, I know. I know you joking, man. Pancake says I learned a lot from a lot of people, though. Lately, I've been learning from me and some other streamers. Nice. Video games and personal research have taught you more than anything else, though. Nice. What's something you learned? And just said I had to step away for a second. What's the new question? The new question, I'm trying to do something more relatable for everybody. I feel like if I talk about social learning and stuff more, I'm gonna be just monologuing the whole time. That's not what I'm going for. What's something that you've learned from somebody in your life? As I was talking about with social learning, models for behavior, models for knowledge and stuff like that don't have to be real people either. They can be fictional characters and things like that. So yeah, share something that you've learned from a person in your life. Testu, what's up, Gaster? How you doing? Welcome on in. I'm doing good, Gaster. I'm doing well. Trying to figure out what the heck's wrong with my foot today, because it hurts really bad. I think it's just a repetitive stress injury from running and stuff. Pancake says I'll elaborate more when I have more time. Oh, that's true. If you're making dinner with Ash, that makes sense. Learn how to be more positive for me. Awesome. It's really helping your mood. Just saying. Nice, man. I'm glad to hear that. Gotta go to the store though. Need stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Please do that. I know it's late for y'all. I hope your stream went well I hope your stream went well today. Yeah, Kitty Criposaurus. I like it. That was one of yours, Gaster? Oh, that one up there. Okay, got it. Got it. The one that you found. Yes, I was gonna say, Criposaurus has been around for forever, dude. It's talking about our pal Kryptonic, who isn't here anymore. He's around. He's around other places. And is good people. A fan of him. Actually, go ahead and change that question to something a bit more relatable for everybody, because this is not good conversation for everybody. It's good conversation for some people. Deep inhale. Ooh, Gaster's got something. I hope. I don't know. That's why I changed it, Gaster. I think too many people. This isn't a relatable question I'm asking you guys. It's not fair to you guys. You know. I thought it'd be cool for conversation. I planned on it being one that I talked about more, but that's not. I don't know. That's not what I want out of this. I don't want to just be monologuing the whole time. I want you to be talking as well. You'd have an opportunity to. And if I ask questions that are too eccentric, then people don't have a chance to do that, and that's not okay. That's not what this is all about. So there you go. What's something you learned from somebody in your life instead? That's something everybody can think about and talk about. And it relates to social learning, because that's essentially what social learning is. Learning from other people in your life. Even deeper inhale. Do it, Gaster. Don't give me an I don't know. You got something in there. That continue? It does. Yeah, it does. Ooh, I feel like Gaster's writing something good. I like it. Let's hear it. So that okay, it ends in whatever that is. Does that continue? Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Saxdu said, what? Video games are getting more involved, and also the developers are putting more info that you can learn while playing games now. Absolutely. Educational games are getting even more and more popular, and I love that. Totally. Gaster says, I've learned many things from the people in your life, but one of the major things for you would be writing and drawing skills you picked up from your mom. That and your love for dragons. Hey, my mom really liked dragons too. That's awesome, Gaster. Like I was saying earlier, the people that we learn most from are totally our parents. Also siblings and other close family members and stuff like that. Those tend to be the people that we learn most from. For sure. Does your mom draws and stuff a lot then too, huh, Gaster? Sounds like. And I'm guessing since you like writing as well, you also probably enjoy English a little bit, or at least the ability to be able to write once in a while. Do you like to write about certain topics, or do you just kind of write freeform fantasy stuff, or what? Love to hear some more about that. She used to back when she was in school. Okay, gotcha. Not as much anymore, I guess, sounds like. Gotcha. Well, I hope she's enjoying whatever she does now. Oops, that was... Oh, I meant to do this too. Shoot. I messed up. I meant to do this as well. You're back. Good to see you. Does she like bust out her old artwork and stuff too, Gaster? Do you get to see that once in a while, or not so much? There we go. And that continues over there, it looks like. That anywhere else? I think that's good. Yep, looks like it. Let's continue it this way. Can just about get all of it. Where spelling isn't the greatest. Yeah, no worries. Learn how to put the right amount of detail in the text to help the reader feel that they are there in the text. And the people at your school love your newer works in English. That's awesome, Gaster. Got that sense of accomplishment. Sounds like you're putting a lot of effort there. That's awesome. It's pretty awesome when you see something that you put a lot of effort into turn out well, huh? It's really good. Sounds like you work really hard at that kind of stuff. And people enjoy that, you know? They can probably tell that you put a lot of time into that, and I think that's value in and of itself, you know? If somebody could tell that you worked really hard on it, I think that they tend to appreciate it a lot more. Still has a lot of our old drawing notebooks and stuff. That's awesome, Gaster. Must be fun to go through once in a while, huh? That's not my head. There we go. Okay, that goes there. That's that. This continues here. The thing is, if you get passionate about something, I can pump out 1,000 words in like 30 minutes. Of course, that's a big intrinsic motivator, right? A big, yeah, something that kind of goes along with what we were talking about earlier. You know, this intrinsic motivations, those intrinsic rewards. You know, people are very, very, very heavily motivated by those kind of things. It's something that comes from within, you know, instead of something that comes from without. Yeah, that can be a big reason why people produce some of their best work. The spelling and grammar will be crap. That's okay. I mean, you can get that later. It's more important that you get the idea down and not so much the exact the exact spelling and grammar for it, you know? In my opinion. Even people that aren't really good writers can still convey very important ideas sometimes. I'd like to trace, I think, here next and go from there. Yes, let's do that. Yes, start here. Just like that. Typing is also easier than writing because you speak your words and you're always like 15 words ahead. Gotcha. Like you mean like you say them in your head. You can probably type faster than you speak as well. Or, sorry, that's impossible. You probably type faster than you write, which is most people. Gotcha. Do you use that as like a sort of accommodation to school or something like that, Gaster? They'll totally, I mean, that's where schoolwork is going a lot of times too, is doing more stuff online as well. You wish, Gaster? Yeah. I wish for you as well. I wish that they would just allow you to use the modality that works best for you. That's not for everybody, unfortunately. Only for students they deem that really need it. So that's not a branching projection. That's a whole different projection. Did I trace that well? Yeah, sort of. So this is actually a whole different projection here. Oop. And then down here. No. Thank you. Most of the stuff you do is still pencil and paper stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a bit antiquated in my opinion. Which grade are you in, Gaster, if you wouldn't mind me asking? I'm assuming in high school or something. I thought I turned that off. But yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for mentioning me in that tweet there, Pancakes. 10th grade, Gaster, gotcha. Here are the age range that I work with at school. Interesting grade to be in. High school? Yeah, I got you, Gaster. What's one thing you wish teachers did more? Oh, not that. That. I suppose that question's for anybody that is in school, whether it be high school or college. What's something you guys wish teachers did more? You know? Let's work as a group. Interesting, Gaster. That's not something I hear students say very often. Most students I work with, or have heard of, hating group work. What do you like about group work, Gaster? This way, down that way. I can't really tell where that goes. I can tell it goes down here. This way. And then I can't really tell too much. I'm gonna leave that alone. Definitely something that comes through this way, but I don't know what that is. Something that goes through that way. Oh shoot, there was that too. Can learn best if you get a good group together. Got it. You talk things out you may not understand. Got it. Sounds like you're a student that likes to talk about stuff more than you might like to write about it. Would that be accurate? I thought so, Gaster. Yeah. You usually have a lot of stuff to say. Makes sense. That's good. That's a good skill to have, is being more comfortable with talking, I'd say. Being proficient in writing still, of course, is important, but having that penchant for speaking with other people, it's an important talent. Yeah. Why do I tend to excel at science? Why is that, Gaster? Why do you think so? Does this go 4 ways? Is that right, or is this just... I don't know about that. It's too mellow stuff. I love too mellow stuff. It does actually seem to be a 3-way split there. Interesting. Okay, let's do that. Oh, whoops. Oh, it's because it's a lot of group work and you love the subject. That also helps, for sure. Quest time for whoever's ready. Ninja said, I've learned for your collective professors what makes you good and bad at teaching things. Like how? What do you mean? What you mean, Dad? What you mean, man? Also, you know what? I feel like we're not really feeling this tonight. And because of that, I feel like I'm not feeling this tonight. I must switch over.